I like them to use a powder foundation. When you buy the MAC, it's called Studio Fix, and it's just a thicker powder foundation. I think it's more foolproof. I think it's a lot harder to mess up powder than it is to mess up actual liquid foundation. So if you have a child that naturally has circles under their eyes, some kids just do, they've got darker bluish or reddish circles, then start with a concealer. I don't recommend using a stick. A stick gets too thick and cakey when you go to put it on, so I recommend using a cream. I think this door is open.
It is. The other one is.
You need to have a sponge. They're very inexpensive, so put that in your kit. So for instance, Carly already has some makeup on, but what I would do if I was going to do concealer is I would always, when you're using a liquid, put it on your hand first. It warms it up to body temperature so that it's easier to use on their face. And what you're going to do is you're going to, I'm going to turn this way a little bit. You're going to go under their eye and just upward a little bit. If you have a child who likes to blink a lot, and some kids do, they're going to get more used to this as you do it, but you will get into fights. Be patient, let them blink in between, give them time, so pretend you're a blinker, okay? You do one, you let them blink for a second, you let them relax, then you do another one, and then you let them relax. Don't try to just do it. Don't be like, just let me do this, because you will end up having fits and no one will want to dance again next year. Has anybody ever done that at your house? Yeah. I have a feeling, okay. So yeah, I can picture it. I know, I've been around some dance mommies before. All right, then you're going to use the foundation all over their face. Everything that you do with the brush, you do in an upward direction. So you're just going to take this up. You take it under the chin here. You're trying to take any shine away from their face that they have. Okay, so and everything goes upward. And you'd be amazed for stage, you really do need a nice coating. I'm not going to go crazy on Carly because I'm not going to make her walk around like that all night. But you do need a nice even coating on their face for your next layers. So nice and even all over the face. This stuff's really hard to mess up, I promise. Like I like to use this at home for myself because you can't mess it up. You don't get streaks, you don't get crazy stuff. For each child, we have 3 colors, and I will tell you what those are, but we have 3 colors of blush to choose from for their skin color. But most...
And the concealer, that stuff, what color do we pick, or you can tell us what color?
Well, I can match it for you, or you can go to the counter and match it.
With
right, yes, you take her with you, and they will match it for you. They'll try the different colors till they find the right one. You'll be amazed at how quickly they can pull out just 2 of them and be like, it's either this or this. Each color that they have has a code to it, and it's like a C for, an N for, and it depends on the, like if your skin is warm, if it's pink, or if it's more olive, they can tell just when you walk up, like, what the color is. That's one of the reasons why you might be better off for buying something like the foundation at MAC, because at the store you can't get it all out and try it on them. You know what your skin color looks like. Even I buy stuff all the time and I'm like, dang it, it's not the right, it's not what I wanted. They do say that you compare along this part of your skin when you're trying to match a foundation. So if you can take the color in the store and put it this way, obviously that's not my shade, but that's the idea, is that along there. But they will, if you go to MAC, they'll color match you in anything. I have a lot of shades, but I don't have enough to color match. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a wide enough range. When I'm using my box, if I've got a kid who's in between, I just mix the 2. And they will also match this for you as well. Usually, if you're buying this at the drugstore, it's light, medium, and there's only 3 colors: light, fair, medium, and then dark. But at the MAC counter, they've got every shade. They've probably got 25 shades of this to match all different skin tones. So, one thing I recommend highly is getting yourself a good set of brushes. CVS has a great line of brushes, and they are wood tone on at least, I don't know if they still are, but they were, does it say what the name of them is?
I have the at-home brush kit, plus the crease brush.
Yes.
And the whole thing was $14.49.
Do you know what the name of it is? It's Simply Something or something like that. It's like one of those.
They were hard to find last year.
It's like an eco-friendly name.
It wasn't.
But they do.
Essential Beauty?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, you have it.
Yes,
that's
okay.
it.
So yes, see, it's
That's
a
it.
wood tone on the base. These are really nice brushes and they're not very expensive. You know, I have the MAC brushes, but dear Lord, these were, you know, pricey. Each one of these is upwards of 20 plus, some more. So there's those, and Walgreens has their own brand too. And those are all just as usable as the MAC brand. You can also get really nice brushes at Sephora if you're interested with that too. The other thing is brush care. When you're using stage makeup, it does get really cakey. So if you find that you're having a hard time evening out colors, cleanse. All you do is use shampoo. You can use shampoo and wash it like you wash your hair, and you'll be amazed at how much stuff comes out of these things. So if you use a paper towel, like you wash it and then you use a paper towel and keep doing that until the color comes off, then you know that you have a clean brush, which I did not do before this, so sorry about that, Carly. For these guys, I find that we use the lightest color blush for just about every child, and that is called Desert Rose. You don't have to memorize that because I'm going to send it home. I'm going to send that information home. I'm trying to find it so I can show it to you. Here it is. It's kind of a peachy reddish. The nice thing about MAC products is that you can keep layering until you get the right shade that you want. With L'Oreal, you have to kind of like go for it because there isn't as much pigment. MAC makeup has a lot more pigment in it. And so we do a process that's called stippling, and you just kind of twist the brush as you put it on their skin. Like you kind of press towards their skin. You don't want to brush. Like brushing is not the key with stage makeup because you'll end up with a stripe. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to highlight the apples of their cheeks. They're young, we want to see their smile, we want to see that happy part of their face. So if you have them smile for you once like that and you see what you're aiming for, you start there and you take it up towards their temple. And I just kind of do it in a circular pattern, which keeps us from having stripes. So if you can tell the difference between the two, if she was on stage, you can see her face is defined. Turn your head this way a little bit. You can see she's got a little more definition in her face, but I'm not trying to make it, you know, doll cheeks or anything. So we're just taking it kind of around and up. When they get a little older, we do a little bit more with contour. We try to get like under the cheek and all that kind of stuff. But at this age, they're so fresh-faced that we just want to get that smile to pop out on stage when they smile with their cheeks. So every child's going to be a little bit different. Here's the thing that always throws moms for loops. They do not have her face. You are used to doing your face. You've been doing your face since you were 12 years old. You know what it feels like. You know what it looks like. They're going to have different eyes than you, different face shapes, so you have to get used to what to do with their face. It's going to be different. Do a practice run. Try it at home, have a makeup night, go out someplace fun and shock the people at the pizza party. But in general, if you're having a struggle with how to do it, stand behind them like this and look in a mirror because you're used to doing it all this way. You're not used to this. This is a makeup artist trick. They are so used to that. They can do that. It takes you a while to get used to doing that. I can do that. I've done headshots a bajillion times and I can stand in front of somebody and do it. But I have to start this way. So if you do it this way and you're looking in the mirror, you can kind of see and you're still using the same feeling you are on your own face. So that's the blush. Eyes. There are 3 shades. I think I'm going to change the colors. I just haven't been able to go over to the mall, which I need to do tomorrow. Because on Saturday. You're going to use your all-over eye brush, which looks something like that. Oh, look, see, I have the Essence of Beauty brush myself. You're going to cover the whole lid with your lightest color. So again, small little strokes. You don't try to brush it on. You're just doing small strokes over their whole eyelid from their brow all the way down to the lash line. And you can't really mess this up because the base color is a very light color. It's not something you can really overdo. And you don't want to overdo it because then they look like they have ghost eyes. But this just gives you a base on the eye first. Okay, nice and simple. If they have very blonde eyebrows, use a light brown pencil. And when you do the pencil, obviously Carly doesn't need that, but if she did, ooh, that's a black pencil, you would have hated me. Pretend I'm using a pencil. You do it in little tiny streaks like their hairs. You're trying to mimic the hair color. And then you just take a little brow brush and brush through it, and that will make it more natural. But you just follow their natural brow line or the one you want them to have. That's totally up to you. If you have a different vision for your child, oh, here's a brow brush, a brow pencil. So basically, it would just be like this. You would just sort of follow the line and make small lines, and then you would take your brush and just kind of comb through it. The one that looks like a toothbrush, a little. All right, your second color is the tough one. This is your crease. And different people use different brushes. There's this one that's kind of angled a little bit, and then there's this one that is actually a crease brush. They have them where they're very small like this, and then they have them where they're really big like this. You have small people, you need small brushes, okay? So if you use a big one, then you've covered the whole eye because their eyelids are very small. So this is the Essence of Beauty crease brush. It comes in your Essence of Beauty travel kit. The color, one of the main reasons I want to change colors this year is because this espresso color is not very forgiving. It's got a little bit of gray in it. It's brown. Where is it? Thank you. It's brown, but it has a lot of gray in it. And so I'm changing to something a little bit warmer. It looks warm, but once it's on your skin, it becomes kind of, and we're going to go with a little bit of glitter this year. Not glitter, but shimmer. Okay, so the first thing I do, because these aren't my eyes, I know where my creases are, but they're not my eyes, so I look at her first. I have her just look straight ahead, and I see on her beautiful eyes that it's just, I can find where the crease is. So then you have her close your eyes, and then open them again, and then close them. So now I can see where the crease of her eye is. And all you're going to do, very lightly, is outline her eyeball. It's the same idea as like, here's, okay? So you're just trying to make a little archway. And again, see, I'm doing it this way because this is easier for me. I could do it from the other way, but this is easier. Then you fill in this little triangle just to the outside of the eye. Just a little triangle, just that little bit, okay? Now I'm gonna finesse this up a little bit, but I'm gonna show you just the basics first. So here's her crease, and actually on her you can actually see where her crease is because her eye kind of has that little wrinkle in it. Oh, it's your first week. Now, here's your tip for the day. Light and then add. If you try to draw this line on from the beginning, you're gonna hate yourself because you can always go darker once you find out that you got the shape right. But if you go dark and then she opens her eyes and you got the shape wrong, you're gonna be mad at yourself. Okay, so open your eyes.
Or your daughter will be mad at you.
Or your daughter will be mad at you. Okay, so I did a little bit darker on her right eye, but do you see the difference? How I started to define the part just above when she opens her eyes. So it's like underneath the brow bone. The crease happens right under the brow bone. So since I got it right, I'm just gonna thicken it just a little bit. Those sponges that I was talking about are very helpful if you do get heavy-handed because then you sponge it back off. Don't try to wash it off. And then it takes all the other makeup off. And then you gotta start over and then your mommy's gonna do it.
And your daughter asks her big to do it.
Right, exactly.
She asked for it.
And your daughter goes
daughter goes to her
outside of
kid.
your expertise and finds someone to do it for her. Okay. Again, this is why you practice, because you're just not sure for the first time at competition when you're all nervous anyway that you're going to get it right. Okay. The last color is kind of a shimmer color, and that is your chance for redemption a little bit, because once you've got that, that crease color on, we're going to take this between the crease and the other color, and we're just going to do this, all at the brow bone. So you're going to take it from that top part up to the brow bone, and it just shimmers on stage, makes their eyes pop a little bit. Pop. Okay, so you can go over all of that part and kind of smooth it out. You ever see how that softened those two things? So we don't want a line. We don't want that perfect line. We want there to be some difference between the two. And I will send out, one of the things that I will give you is a little, it's like an eye picture, and it shows you where this stuff is going to go. I actually have a couple of Pinterest pictures I'm still trying to figure out how to translate to send to you, because there's some good tutorials, so we can do that too. On these guys, I find that the best way to do, just had it, where did it go? The best way to do their liner is with a brush. At this age, they absolutely do not cooperate with letting you put their liner on, and then you end up doing crazy things. This is an angled brush. This is also the Essence of Beauty Comb Eyebrow and Eyeliner Brush. I like to use this because you can use the eyeshadow to make the eyeliner happen. So basically what I would do is I would take the dark color, which right now is espresso. I'll tell you what we decide it's going to be once I get to the mat counter tomorrow. So she's gonna close her eyes, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this along her lash line. Now, it is going to leave a little bit of powder underneath her eye, and that's when you, as a mom, use the blow trick. Yeah, that's it. That's the trick. She's your daughter, you're allowed to do it. Carly's kind of my daughter, so I'm allowed. There's a family resemblance if you hadn't noticed. Okay, so that just darkens along their eyelashes, but it doesn't darken it like eyeliner. Like the older girls wear black eyeliner, we don't wear black eyeliner yet, we're just trying to put a frame around our eyes. Now, to go under the eye, think of coming upward towards the eye. You don't want to go down into the eye because that makes them defensive. They see it in front of their eyeball. So instead, have them look up at the ceiling, and all you're going to do is just pat it underneath their lashes. Just little pats upward, like that. So really, see, it's not even coming into her line of vision if she's looking up. Okay, I'll do the other eye, and that'll help you see. Sorry, I got some.
All these brushes are in that kit?
Yeah, I think so. I think this might be
That one's
extra.
separate.
I think this one's
You
separate,
have
but
to buy
does it
one.
have, it might have just this angle one without it being attached to this.
And that's Walgreens?
CVS.
CVS
Like
or
last
Walgreens.
year we bought, and they were having like a buy one, get one sale. So like, have a look at your CVS circulars and start kind of.
I don't have it.
Okay, well, then that might be an extra.
Yeah,
All
'cause
by
last year
itself.
we used the
We used-
pencil.
We did.
We used the,
Did you use pencil?
We
We
did.
did.
Yeah.
We used
That was
Yeah.
so cool.
We used
I
the.
know, I
Yeah, we
have
did,
to
but
do
you
it
could have showed us
every
this last year. That would have been
I
great.
have to do it
Yeah,
every
it's
year.
for
Yeah,
I have to do
Fallible
it every year.
eyeliner, the
Okay.
black noir.
Well, I'm gonna let you try this one because
Okay,
this
great.
is a much easier way to do it. This is what I do for headshots when I do their makeup, and I find that especially on the young ones, it's a nice definition of the eye. You may have to reapply, like if you have a long period of time, because it doesn't stay on as well. It's not as foolproof. You can even wet it a little bit if you're adventurous, but then you have to keep the wet part to one side of your little pot of eyeshadow, because if you get it in the whole thing, then it becomes not powdery anymore. So if you're going to use the same pot of eyeshadow, then you don't want to get the wet part mixed with the dry part. Does that make sense? You can use half of it as wet, half of it as dry, and you'll be able to tell, because one side gets kind of shiny when you've used it with water. Last but not least,
Sometimes I make the eyeliner, like the powder.
well, not last but not least, but last but not least for the eye,
Stay better.
Mascara.
think of, I always do mascara from the front, even though I say everything else from behind, because this is why. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand in front of Carly, so you can kind of look at what I'm doing here. I tell her to look at my chest, so she's going to look somewhat downward. That puts her lashes right in the middle of her eye. So I'm not touching them back to her eyeball or her eyelid, because that's always the problem. They open their eyes too much, and then you're touching their actual lid, and then you have to get the smudges off. This way, if you can get them to look right here, then the lash is right in the middle, and you do little short strokes at the end of their lashes, just like that. I don't make them wear eyelashes at this age, so they really do need, I'm doing it from behind so you can see what I'm talking about,
And the
but
girls are
just
always
the edges.
exactly as still.
They're always as still as her, yes. But here's the thing, don't worry about them blinking. They can blink. If they blink, you hold the wand.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, every time they blink, you go like this. Do it for me. Give me a little blink, Carly. Okay, you just go, oh, yep, here we go. Yep, she's blinking, here we go. Okay, so as long as you can keep it just to the tips of their lashes if they're blinking, then you most likely will not have issue. If it gets on the bottom, wait till it dries. It's a lot easier to get it off than trying to get off when it's wet. It will smear when it's wet. It flakes a little bit more when it's dry. So a little bit of Q-tip, just flaking that
No
off.
mascara on the bottom lashes?
You can if they have long enough lashes. Some of them at this age, their lashes just curl right back down to the to the skin, and when that happens, it's impossible on those little lashes. If they have long enough lashes and you can get a little bit along the bottom, then I do that. I like this particular mascara for young people because this brush isn't very long, and so it doesn't. You can get it closer to the lashes without getting it on their skin, I find. Last but not least, we have lipstick. Yay, lipstick. Okay. So we use a color that's not quite a red. It's got some pink in it. This particular color is called Sophisto. I have that one. Yes.
Are we doing that this year?
Yes. This is a little. This is a makeup makeup artist trick. This is a Wet n Wild pencil. It's 99 cents, unless they've gone up to like $1.19 now. I don't know. Like times they are.
Yeah,
I
they
went
do.
looking for them right before concert, and everybody bought them.
Well, and this is the way you know it's 666. It's the sign of the devil, and it's a great lip liner. So it's a Wet n Wild. It's super cheap, and it's like a 99 cents. Number 666, Wet n Wild, and it's called Brandy Wine, and it is like the makeup artist's secret because it goes with many a color. It's just something about it. It goes with lots of people's skin and different colors. Do not draw lines. Lines ruin the picture. So you want to do little tiny lines. Oh, sorry. So little lines all along their lip line. And you should assess ahead of time where you think their lip line is, because again, you haven't seen your child in makeup. Sometimes where you think it is, you draw it on and then you find out they look like a clown because you got it way down here. So be conservative to begin with. You can always extend out, but you don't want to start way down here and then find out that's not really their lip
That
line.
was just chaps.
Yeah, just a little chap inch, exactly. So these are just small lines. I'm just doing little hashes. And I rest my pinky against their chin. That steadies you. And so you just follow the natural shape of their lips. You're not trying to make something out of it that it's not. Occasionally, a child will come to the first competition and they have like points right here, and I go, did your mom think you had that? You know, I mean, some kids have lips that way, but other times, you know, it's just drawn in and it's like little tents on each side of their lips. Don't make something out of their lips that they aren't. If they don't have points, don't make them. Just make them their own. And then we can just do little strokes, or you can use a brush. Totally up to you. Some people like to use a brush because they're not used to doing the lipstick on somebody besides themselves.
Last year, you did the color rich tender pink. Are you going to change the lipstick this year?
This is the one, I think that was one of the, this was the matte option.
The matte option.
This is the Sophisto, and I think the tender pink was the
Okay, so
non-matte version.
Okay.
So we'll have to check and make sure they still make it. That's what I always need to do from year to year.
Yeah.
Is make sure they still have all the colors. So it has a little bit of shine. I do like to use a little bit of gloss at the end. Oh, here's the other Essence of Beauty. They make it in several colors. You can use a clear gloss, you can use a pink gloss, you can just use something that's going to give them a little color. You put it right in the center. Just like that.
Clear gloss.
Yeah, you could, yeah, just a clear. This is a pink, it just has a little bit of shimmer to it. You can use a clear gloss over their lipstick. Am I forgetting anything? I always do that. I get done and people go, did you forget?
Yes.
No?
Did you
Finishing
foundation and finishing?
Oh, powder.
Powder.
Yes, powder at the end. So you set the whole thing at the end with a loose powder, which I don't know that I have in here. You can very lightly also use your foundation. You can use your foundation as well, just if you kind of just lightly go over everything, and that just sets the final
Except the
picture.
lipstick.
Set the lipstick. We don't want to do it over the lipstick. Usually I put the powder on and then the lipstick, so I knew I was forgetting. All right? We're always around. There are always other dance moms. This is not something to panic about. Please don't panic about the makeup. If you show up and it's wrong, I'm going to help you fix it. If you get 3/4 of the way through and everybody melts down, it's not worth it. I just want you to know that this is not something to panic about. A lot of times moms put way too much pressure on themselves to get this perfect. I don't expect perfection. I expect a college try. So, again, you know, not trying to make them look like toddlers and tiaras, just trying to enhance what they already have, you know. Now see yourself, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Is that you really work hard not to have wispies, okay? So use whatever you need to use, whether, God, I could brush this all day, God, this is amazing.
I mean, wispies like Marley right there?
Yeah, wispies like Marley. That is
Professor?
precisely what I'm talking about.
Like
So,
Rainbow?
you can, I don't recommend you start with a wet head, because if you start with a wet head, you have a crusty head, okay? Damp is okay. Like, if it's mostly dry, then that's gonna help you to get the wispies out. So you can see, like, when I pull Barbie's hair off, woo, yeah, so we don't want that, right? So,
like this.
what I will have them do, yes ma'am, bend over, is put their head upside down.
That's a lot of hair. Exactly.
I know. I can't believe how much hair you have. I have no idea. I have a whole new respect for you and your beauty regimen. Brush it upside down. Get your light gel. You don't want like the sticky, I don't want the wet look. I'm not looking for the wet look. I'm looking for the dry look. Does anybody have hairspray or gel? Anything? Oh, it's time for the Aquanet. Get ready.
Oh,
So,
but she doesn't go.
how the girl.
Let me please.
Hey, Lily, maybe step back.
Yeah, you're gonna get them out.
That won't be. That would spoil my appetite.
Oh, yeah.
So, if they have a lot of hair that's going to come out underneath, you will want to use a light gel, some kind of gel. And you do want to, from a semi-wet, you know, that's mostly dry hair, you want to go upside down like this because that's going to train the hair to go this way when you're putting it up. Otherwise, if it was already down, then it already dried downward and it's going to try to go back down. The thing is that you start with a brush like this, and then for your final getting it all up into the smooth ponytail, you use a bristle brush. Like you can use a round brush if you have one, but a brush that has exactly like that, tight bristles, okay? And so you're gonna brush all of it back. Shannon, what gel do you like? I don't have a preference, as long as it's not super stiff, unless you just have untamable wispies. And again, like Carla's got a bunch of wispies underneath, and if we were doing competition for real, if it's not long enough to stay in, then we're gonna have to use some little clips that are the color of her hair. I don't want to do that, so we're trying not to. Drive in the right place.
And that hairspray, is that preferable? That type of-
Actually, we like to use a hairspray called Freeze It, and Freeze It. Okay, come around.
Where'd you get that?
Freeze It, you can get it at any drugstore. It's gold. The can is gold.
Oh, yeah.
It smells horrendous, but it stays like crazy, and it's kind of a staple of competition wear.
Okay.
All right, so where you're trying to put this bun is just at the top of their head, but not the very top, so that it's like a fountain. It's, ladies, sit down. You're not doing your hair. Your moms are. Okay. All right, so when you come up, oh, I did bad in the front, sorry. It is almost the top of their head. So it's not the very top, it's just behind the top. So kind of what some people would call the crown, okay? Now this is where it's gonna get subjective. Some of you have curly hair, some of you have thin, extremely thin hair, some of you have this kind of hair. So everybody's gonna treat it a little bit differently. What I don't want, let me tell you what I don't want. I don't want it to look like that perfect, I just put the donut in my hair and it is like a fake, perfect round thing. So we are actually doing buns. If you have long enough hair, you're gonna do a twist and you're gonna actually take it around like a real twist of hair, okay? And bring it around and then we're gonna bobby pin it all down. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again, ready? Not super tight, I'm not doing this. Okay? I'm not doing that. I'm going light at the top because that's where you're going to get the most volume from that part there. Then you can go tighter at the bottom. Okay? So this part can be nice and tight. So you're going to start to bring it around and you let it kind of unwind a little bit and sit on the top of their head. Then this part comes around like that. And so it ends up looking multi-layered.
Those are regular bobby pins, not the
Hairpin.
The hairpins. I start with bobbies because hairpins will not hold it for anything for long term. So what you do is you take the bobby pin and you go outward and then push it back in. So you pull this way and then you push it back towards their hair. So it pulls the hair out first. So go around the whole base of their bun first. So go out and come back in. You can use this technique for ballet class as well. No tails sticking out, so you really want to conceal the end of their hair. Out and back in. So you always want it to face inward. The bobby pin goes inward towards the hair. I let the rubber band show there. I should remember.
Yeah.
So all the way around the base of it. That's what's going to make it stay in. Like that. Then you can go ahead and take the parts that are the next layer and do the same thing back into the bun. You don't want your bobby pins to be visible if possible. That's the goal. Right, exactly. We're trying for a pile.
That's not a messy bun, is it?
Well, it's not as messy, like some people do just
Like a
the
tight.
tousled messy.
It's not
bun.
tight.
This
so
is,
it's
right,
not-
it's a loose bun. Okay, now I did a really lousy job of keeping this nice and smooth in the front, but I was trying to hurry because I was going too slow there for a while. So if you have to use clips, they have to be the color of your hair. I'm talking about the little butterflies. We try to use as few of those as we can because they really do show on stage. But if you have to, it's better to use some butterflies than have hair that's doing this halfway through the dance, that starts coming out. So you spray, the butterflies are the little, they go like this. They're like,
Like they use in gymnastics,
yeah,
like
what
that.
shape is that? It's like a V, kind of.
Yeah,
Do I have
and it like bends to open, pops
Yeah,
open,
you
like
pops
that.
and
Pop it
closes,
open.
and they make them in like the
Oh.
actual hair colors,
Okay,
the different hair colors. So basically, we want to see the bun from the front. We don't want it sticking way up like a doorknob, but we want to be able to see it. So when I look at Carly, I can see this in the front. So it's not dead on top of her head, but I can still see it from the front. So that's, if she shook her head, does it loose it up? No. If she shook her head and said that she felt anything moving at any point, then that means at least 4 more body. Okay? Anything that they feel moving. If they're like, oh, well, I don't know, this feels, you're like, okay, 4 more. And then you shake again. Okay?
The pins we don't use at all, really. Get bobby pins.
You can use hairpins like for the finishing touches, and the hairpins you do the same thing. You go outward and come back in, but I will tell you that these are going to hold a lot better. And you got to get them in the color of their hair. They have them in the color of their hair. Get a whole bunch, keep them in your bag, because I swear there's like a bobby pin heaven where they all are together somewhere on the earth. Like I think that there's like a pile of bobby pins somewhere on the earth and they all gravitate to each other. So yeah, just make sure that the hair is going to stay in. You don't want it falling out on stage. We are going to have a little hair accessory, a little hat accessory